Hunter Douglas LiteRise repair is a pretty simple thing to do. What we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how to repair and replace these lift motors. So this is a cordless lift system from Hunter Douglas. It's a really nice lift system, but they break sometimes. So what you want to do first is remove your end cap, slide your head rail back to see what type of motors you have and color transmission. So the transmissions are available in 4 colors: blue, green, red, or black. The motors are available in 3 colors: black, gray, and beige. What you want to do is replace the motor progression and transmission. You want to duplicate that. So what we have here is we have a blue, a black motor, and a gray motor. So this is what we're going to use to replace this with. So I'll show you how to put this together in a minute. So the reason that this lift system fails usually is this little cord inside this transmission right here. There's a little cord inside, and you can see if you look real closely, the tail of it right in here is broke. So that's why this system failed. Now on the new transmission, what you can see this cord right here. It's wrapped around one spindle and then the other. So what you want to do is replace the whole unit, the transmission and the motors, and also we have an adapter, transmission and motor adapter. The second thing you want to do, well, we'll take this off, and they're held into the head rail. If you look, there's 2 pins that come off these adapters, and then they fit right into the head rail here. So what we want to do is remove this motor and transmission assembly, put it aside, because we're going to totally replace this. Now the second thing you want to do is you want to check here and make sure that your lift cords aren't compromised in any way. If there's any knots in them or they're broken, you'll see that. So you want to check both lift cords, and then this lift cord looks okay, and you can see it's just starting one wrap right here, and so that looks okay. The middle one here is just a spacer. It's not used in this application. And then, so what we want to do now, say if the lift cord was broke, typically what happens is they break because this pocket and ferrule, it's this pocket and ferrule. They're made out of plastic, and the heat sometimes makes them brittle. So what you want to do is pry this pocket out of here and then put a new ferrule in. You're good to go. And they come in a set here. So it'll be a pocket and ferrule. This is not the case for this shade. So anyway, what we want to do is we want to build this progression now, and you'll notice too that this transmission has 2 stops in it. Also, you'll notice this is a V shaft. This shaft here is a V. It has a little V in there. The other transmissions are, here's a V shaft, and then the other 2 colors are D. D is in David shaft. So you can see they're a little different profile. So we have a blue transmission, and what we want to do is build this, and we want to basically duplicate what we have. So what I'm going to do is pull one of these pins out to start, and I take this transmission adapter, slide it on the transmission. I want to snap this black motor onto this shaft and push. You'll hear it click. Now it's pushed on there. We still have a pin in the transmission. We want to release this motor, the shaft stop. Now we want to put this gray motor on the black motor. You just want to snap it on, and it fits into this square shaft. They snap together, and you want to put this motor adapter plate on the motor to hold this unit in. And these snap on too. So what we did is we rebuilt this unit. So this is a faulty one, this is a brand new one. Now the last thing you want to do, you want to pull this pin on your transmission. And we still have this shaft stopper on there. You don't want to release this. Okay, what you want to do now is, here's our V shaft. V, this fits together. right on there, and then we want to push these back in the holes that they came out of. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is close this head rail just a little bit until the motors are just sticking out. So now what we want to do is we want to put this new transmission and lift motor on this assembly here. And what you want to do is these cords need to be deployed all the way off this lift spool. So what I do is I put the shade all the way down. So the shade is now all the way down, and your lift spools are, there's no cord on them. So now what we do is we pull this shade back up. Sometimes this is a two-person job. But now we're guaranteed that the cord, the shade's all the way down. Now what we want to do is we want to put this transmission, line up the V shaft, put it on the shaft itself, so now it's on the shaft. You want to make sure the string isn't tangled up in any way. And then push these pins back into the head rail. So with our cord deployed, our shade's all the way down now. We pulled our transmission pin out, so there's no pins in the transmission. I have 2 pins here. They always come with 2 pins. The only thing that's holding this thing together is this little shaft stop right here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let the shade all the way down and then pull this off. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is let the shade all the way down. The shade's all the way down, and what I want to do now is pull this shaft stop on the motor. You just wiggle it a little bit, and now there's tension on the transmission and the motors. So basically what you want to do is lift this all the way up now and slide it together to the end and just test it, and it should move freely. So when you put it all the way down, it should stop and stay there, or maybe bounce back an inch or so, but that's about it. These are usually about 2 inches longer than the opening. And then when you put this up, it should stay up there. So say for instance you made a mistake and you figured out, Mom, there's a knot in my string, or something along those lines. You need to take this unit back off. What you do is you take it all the way down and put your shade stopper back on the motor, and then lock it in, and then pull it once it's the tension's released on there, and then you can pull this thing off and work on your shade again. But for right now, everything's good. So what we're going to do is pull this off. There's tension on the motors and transmissions. Push that thing back up. It stays. And we put our end cap back on, and we are good to go here. You've just replaced the LiteRise transmission and motor assembly for Hunter Douglas LiteRise shade.